nobody to come in. I'm like 5 minutes. 5 minutes late. Oh, goodness. Hey, let everybody kind of come on in. Hey, Anita. Kitty. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing this evening? Kathleen. Hey, Mark. From Seattle. Wow. So that means it's like 4:37 there. How am I? Oh, it's been a day. It's been a weekend. We were driving home, and I was like, why do I feel like it's Sunday, man? And Jason looked at me and goes, because it's Sunday. I was like, oh, why was I thinking it was Saturday? So, oh well. All right, let's see who all is coming in. We got a bunch of people in here. Vina, what's up? Michelle Richards, that's a new name. Hey, Steve. Mama says hi. Well, why can't she say it herself? Picker's changed his name. That's cool. Hey, Michelle. It made me hungry for Italian food. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that for a second before. I don't have a whole lot prepped because, as you can imagine, these last couple of weeks, well, week and a half, it's been a little challenging to keep our routine going. So starting tomorrow, obviously, I will be back into my routine of prepping all of my stuff. So, like, my routine right now, up until this last couple of weeks, has been for us to, on Monday nights after I get home from work, is come out here and kind of put together all of my classes, whether it be for the essential oils class on Sunday, or sometimes I have business class meetings on Monday nights. So starting tomorrow, we'll get back into the habit of doing that again. But today, we had so much, we're trying to pick up all the pieces and put everything back together again, and get everything organized, that it was challenging to get back in time and have something prepared for you guys. Alright, so Amanda. Hey, Amanda. Steve said she's crotchety, or she's crocheting. Green Gables, nice to see you live too. So what Teresa's talking about, or Terry's talking about, is earlier Jason and I went live, and we were at Walmart having to put together all of our stuff for next week. We've kind of come to the conclusion that, you know, Blaze is kind of on his way out to becoming his own person, and so now it's time for us to try and, you know, make more memories with the two girls that are growing up. And so one of the things we've been focusing on is planning our meals together as a group. But we thought it'd be interesting and fun, and also kind of like a social studies / history lesson, for us to focus on a particular country and their culture, learn a little bit of their language, and do a whole bunch of different things, so that we can kind of get to know that it's not just, you know, American food, and it's not just American culture. And I think what they're starting to learn is that some of the things that we've derived and named as our own customs and traditions have actually been rooted in other traditions and cultures from other countries. Let's see. Kathleen says, I do like having your oils shows on Sundays better than Mondays. I listen to 2 other shows on Monday. Yeah, well, that makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it? It does make it easier for me on Sunday nights, because it's kind of like my last little, gearing up for the week kind of thing. So this actually works really well for me right around 7 o'clock. Usually it's about 7. I pushed it to 7:30 so that I could prepare a little bit for the class tonight. Let's see, there was some, so back to the whole thing about the food. We were talking about all the different recipes and things that we're going to try this week. And some people had mentioned that they'd be interested in us, like, maybe live streaming while we're cooking a meal. Rather than filming it and trying to edit it and put it all together, might just be fun to do like a little fly by the seat of our pants kind of thing, where we just stream from the kitchen, making some of the meals that we have. Like the one tomorrow night we absolutely love is carbonara. And I actually learned that from a lady. She was married to an Italian man that had his own restaurant when I worked in, when I was in college in Fayetteville. I used to go, work there on the weekends, and so that was one of the things that we did. Mine's actually linguine carbonara instead of spaghetti, and it's a little bit different as far as other recipes that you may look up and when you look up traditional carbonara. So Kathleen says, have you tried to learn American Sign Language in the deaf culture? Absolutely, we already have. One of the things that we don't really touch on a lot, but some of our history, Jason has a daughter by a previous marriage who is deaf. And when the girls were actually 1 and 2, we used to teach them sign language, and we still use that quite frequently, just to kind of keep them kind of, I guess, educated is kind of the word. I used it when I was at Arby's. We had several people that would come in that would struggle a little bit with ordering, and then I would notice that they were using ASL, and then I could communicate with them. So yeah, we definitely have learned a little bit of that. We've also learned that in some of the culture with the deaf, they don't typically use all of the words. They have their own slang, and we've learned a little bit of that and focused on a little bit of that as well. So good question. Definitely something to keep in mind if you were going to teach your kids culture. That's definitely one to teach. So Anita said, you know me, and so we're going to say taco hot pockets. I just got to get an oven first, y'all, but we're getting so close. One of the benefits, I mean, if you can really call it that, but one of the things about the truck being gone, we did have, that's one of the updates I had, we did have total loss protection on the truck, so we're not going to owe anything. From the appraiser to what we owed was about a $1,500 difference, but because we had total loss protection, we're not going to have to worry about it. So that is going to go, I'm hoping, is going to go towards an oven here pretty soon, so that we can start making taco hot pockets. Taco Pop-Tarts is what everybody was talking about just now. I was hoping you were going to come in here. I wasn't sure
I got
if you were or not.
Well, we're still trying to put the groceries up.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm trying to do like how you asked. And get some stuff organized.
Hold on, y'all. Let me fix it just a little bit. I wasn't sure he was going to be coming, so there we go.
So we got the one cabinet. Really, we got the 2 cabinets organized, and we're working on the one right now that has the liquor and the...
So tell everybody about what you're talking about, referring to, because I didn't tell everybody about that we were putting together, how we have that new command center and everything. Or do you want me to tell everybody?
Well, I mean, it is kind of cool.
It is. We'll put up some pictures on Pinterest after the show.
Not Pinterest.
I mean, not Pinterest, Instagram. We found it. We found some ideas on Pinterest.
Well, yeah, we found some of the ideas on Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
And
kind of made it our own.
I'm gonna have to like tip my glasses just to get the glare to stop on them.
Just take them off. Don't use them while you're on.
See how bad that is?
Yep, I see it.
But hello everybody. Everybody that's saying hi. Rocky Brook Farm, Amanda, Anita,
Laura, everybody.
Laura. So anyway, we have basically, I guess, a 2-part command center now in the house. On one wall, we bought, it's kind of like wallpaper, but it's whiteboard wallpaper, and we have chalkboard wallpaper above it. Above
Did we get that at Walmart?
I believe
we did.
I thought it was either there or Hobby Lobby.
I think it was there because it's right there where all the shelf liner stuff is. So.
But on the chalkboard, we have our, at least my mom's side of the family right now, the McGrady side. What we found was the McGrady motto from way back,
which is crazy,
in the Middle Ages,
right?
Which is, it's something in Latin, but it basically means wounded, not conquered.
Which we've known since we've been married. That was one of the things you wanted, and it's always been one of those things we've always wounded, not conquered.
And that's kind of how we've lived our life. You know, we've taken a bunch of hits, and we said, you know what, we're wounded, but we're not conquered.
Right.
And so we put that across the top. And then in the blackboard, we have a quote of the week. This week's quote was, and I don't have my phone with me, but basically it says that no obstacle except for the imaginary one is unconquerable. And I think
basically the only things that are
the only thing that's stopping you from getting where you want to be is the
yourself.
stuff you make up in your head.
Right, exactly. So, which is very telling for right now.
Kind of hit the nail on the head on that one.
Inspiring. Kind of inspiring for us ourselves.
And then underneath that on the whiteboard, as you can see some of the writing here, we've assigned jobs to each one of us. Myself, Robin, and both girls. Blaze pretty much has his own...
Sleep when the wind blows is next week. No, that's like tattooed on our hearts. That one's not going on a board.
Blaze has his own mission now that he has to...
He's got a road map that he's got to follow right now.
Is Mama not in here?
She's crotcheting.
But she's here?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Steve is typing for her.
Oh, okay. Love you, Mama. Anyway, and so, like, on Mondays, I'm working on my stuff for the class, for the conference. On Tuesdays, I'm working on stuff for my presentation. Oh, Tuesday is yoga, and we're doing a project together as a family. Wednesday, no, wait a minute, during the day, see, you messed me up. What am I doing during the day on Tuesday?
I don't remember. Anyway, so basically what it boils down to is we've assigned, obviously while I'm at work, I don't have anything I'm doing.
Right.
So they have stuff to do during the day. The girls obviously have their chores in the morning, and then they have schoolwork. And the room of the day, which they spend a little bit extra time, cleaning up and focusing on a little bit. And then Jason has his own thing that he's doing during the day while I'm at work. I'm trying to pull it up.
During the day when I am not at work,
so
I will have to... One day I'm working on my class that I'm giving for the Homesteaders of America conference on that Thursday before the conference. Another day, I'm working on my presentation that I'm doing at the conference.
Okay, so Monday you do your HOA class and your demo. Tuesday you're working on your book. Wednesday you're doing your HOA speech. Thursday you're working on the blog, and Friday you're researching products for all of your woodworking and leatherworking.
Yes. So every Saturday on our website, we're going to put out a blog. I'm going to basically write kind of a thing about a week in review of things that's been going on here on the homestead. I'm going to put it on the website. There'll probably be a lot of pictures. They'll, telling how crazy that we get with it. We're also going to be putting out at least one video a week. At least. If we get the opportunity to do more, we will. Our videos may, this is just a warning, okay? Our videos may go down a little bit in quality because we're going to be teaching Carol behind the camera.
Right.
So there may be some shots that may be just out of focus that I can't fix in post-production. There may be some moving of the camera.
So be patient.
Stuff like that. So we just ask you to be patient with us as she's learning. And
so Terry asked what how my book was going. So that's one of the things that is scheduled for me to work on while, during the evenings we also have stuff that we're doing. So like Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, we're all going to be doing yoga together as a family. We're also going to be working on some soap making, some glass etching, a whole bunch of different things that we can do together. Also, the girls will both be working on their hobbies. So Carol's going to be doing a lot more Photoshop and photography stuff. Ladessa,
should we drop a hint about what's coming with Carol on that?
I mean, yeah, you can. One of the things that we've been, I'm doing something different. Relax.
Let me do it. I want to do it. Let me do it. Come on, let me do it.
So the very first thing is that I would like for her to do some photography that we can turn into portraits or things like that. For the conference, whether it be portraits or postcards, something like that. But also, she wants to learn how to transfer photography onto different surfaces.
Yes.
So that's another thing that we're going to be looking for, whether it be a cutting board or glass, whatever. So
for a really good example is if she took a picture of one of the chickens or one of the pigs, and then we took a log and we just made a round, just come down with a chainsaw, 2-inch slice of it, and then transfer that picture onto that surface of that cutting from the log, and then maybe attach a clock piece to it or something like that.
Right, so stuff like that where she's manipulating media to be able to make some kind of, because we want our children to have a hobby, but to also be able to turn it into something productive as well. Yeah, a business or whatever. So
now, one of the things that I was just hinting to, we are not taking orders
not yet.
Okay, we don't know how much this is going to cost. We
have an idea.
We still have to get prices on what it would cost to get them made. But Carol wants to make a calendar for 2019. Our goal is to have it ready to be sold at the conference or before. So if you guys want to make pre-orders when we get all the information, we'll take them. But basically, all the pictures that are going to be in there are going to be from Carol. She will take them, whether we go to Joel Salatin's farm or we go here on our homestead or wherever that we may be. those particular point in times.
I love you, Tim.
Why? What'd Tim say?
Because I said media manipulation. He said, "Is that like fake news?"
So, and she's gonna work through with Photoshop and everything to clean everything up and learn how to do that, and then set the calendar up. Now, one of the things that we will be doing, and if this would be the time that if you are a producer, meaning you produce some type of a good, and you want to advertise in Carol's calendar, hit us up, let us know. As soon as we figure out how we're going to do that, we will send you basically the price of what it would cost to advertise in those calendars. Basically, we're thinking that you would sponsor a month, where you would $10-15 you sponsor the month of March. Across the bottom of the calendar it would say your business name, how to contact you, if you want to include a coupon of free shipping or whatever. That's where it would be, and make it to where it could be pulled away. Like I said, we haven't come up with a price list yet because we don't know how much the calendars to get made are going to cost us to send it, all of our pictures and stuff to print.
Donna wants November.
So if you're interested in that and you want to be, because there's only 12 months, go ahead and shoot us the email now. It's going to be first come, first serve. And it's not going to be
ridiculous, like, because, but I
now,
just
if I don't like you, it may be $1,000 for sponsored a month.
But we just figured, some of these people that are trying to
get your businesses going.
Yeah, get your business going.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool. And then if we have an overwhelming amount, what we might do is have like a page in the back that's tearaway coupons or something, or smaller, that kind of thing. So I think we could do a lot with it. But
Tim, I love you.
But I figure what we'll do is, if you're interested in that, just drop us an email and let us know. Because I'm seeing right now, just these ideas, everybody's already wants a month. So it's obviously something that people are very interested in doing. And I know we have so many people that are producers that have great quality goods that they have, but they just don't have a whole lot of exposure.
Right.
And what I'm thinking, and this is just me, when we go to the conference, the goal is to have it printed at the conference. And if we have it at the conference, we're going to be reaching people that we may not even, they're not necessarily subscribers or anything like that, but they might just appreciate having a calendar that has beautiful farm photography in it. And so then all of a sudden now, here's your name there that they've never heard of you, because they might not even follow YouTube.
A perfect example is you have lots of people that watch Off Grid with Doug and Stacy that don't even know who we are.
Right.
We're not even on their radar. And they come by and see our booth and they snatch up a calendar.
Right.
Now they're going to learn about you also. Same way Justin Rhodes is going to be there. So a lot of people, there's bunches of people who follow him. So they're going to probably 9 times out of 10 swing by our booth. I mean, it's very highly probability, just because of the fact I'm the only trapper that's going to be there.
Well, and there's going to be 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, these people
just like with Josh, he's the only blacksmith that's going to be there. We kind of got the niche.
Okay, so a good question. Terry wanted to know, can it be people who don't have a YouTube? This doesn't have anything to do with YouTube.
Yeah.
Get that out of your head right now. You don't have to have a YouTube channel. This is for people who sell goods.
This is just for producers.
For goods, right.
Yeah.
And Jason's man crush will be there too. So anyway, so all of that being said, we're looking to produce, and we did a calendar several years ago, and it did very well.
Yeah, we sold out.
We sold out of our calendars, and so I feel like this will be a good would be a good thing to do and to offer to the community, because
11 more to go. We just got the first email.
I already got an email.
November is gone.
But yeah, so that's the thing, is like, it would be it'd be pretty cool to kind of offer this up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were just talking about it in the car, and I thought, you know.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you, the entire profit is going towards purchasing her a telescope that she can attach her camera to, so that way she can also take pictures of
The
Saturn
stars and
and all the moon and all those things.
We have such a great backdrop with the guide stones here, and such clear area, you know, fields of view for her to be able to take pictures like that.
Yeah.
And some of you, I'm sure, know this, that Carol's very much into astronomy, and so that's what she is, you know, that's what she's wanting to do, is to kind of work on taking pictures that way. But with the camera she has to have a better lens, and that lens costs money. So we told her that if she would put together this calendar, that we would take the proceeds from the calendar after we pay for the calendars to be printed. Anything on top of that she would get to be able to purchase that equipment.
And we thought one way to help really kickstart that is to be able to take and get sponsors to help produce that way majority of the sales.
Okay, wait. So Floyd, I'm thinking, is thinking that we're taking pictures of their stuff to be put on the calendar. No. The pictures are going to be Carol's pictures of things that she sees. So that's what that is. Niana wants to know, are we going to sell the calendars on the website? Absolutely. Yes. It's not just going to be on at the conference. We'll have it until we sell out of it. But yeah, that's going to be a vehicle for us to sell. It would definitely be on the website. So
now, wait a minute. Now, I kind of like Floyd's idea.
What?
And that might be something that we add to a more expensive package. But he says if he makes a small product.
Oh, and could she take pictures?
He basically sends it. Like if he was to make a knife.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not that I'm saying that he should make me a knife. But if he was to make a knife, she could take the picture of said knife, and we could probably put that in there. But that would definitely be a higher price sponsorship.
Right.
But look, I know I'm daddy, and she's daddy's little girl, and she's my princess, and you know, I think she hung the moon. Kind of like her mama and Ladessa both went out there together and hung the moon. But I'm honest, Injun, hand to God, this child's pictures.
Oh, I've had people, I don't know if you've been watching the chat, but some of the pictures that because we did one chat where we posted some of her pictures during the video, and there are a lot of people that say
she will be in National Geographic one day. She has God has come down and kissed her eye.
Yeah. It's one thing we tell her.
And she can take pictures of animals and nature.
Sees things. Yeah. She sees things differently than we do, I believe. I think and that's exactly right, Anita. Her eye sees way more detail than the average person, in my opinion, does. So when we see a grasshopper going by, she sees the detail of the wings. You know, like sometimes we'll just be taking in the whole grasshopper and her picture will be of nothing but a wing and a leg. And you can get mesmerized by the detail of just the wing, you know. And so that's the thing, is like, she's taken some pictures here recently, we haven't released obviously, of the cows, face picture. She loves taking full on face pictures.
She has that one of the grasshopper that I watched from a distance, and she was down on her belly, and I don't know how she got as close as she got, but there's a beautiful close-up picture of a grasshopper's mug.
Right.
I mean, all you got is his head, and to the point where you could even see his pupil.
Right.
And it's a beautiful picture.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about essential oils now.
Okay,
that we've
I'm gonna go
done
check on them.
all of that.
I thought you already done some of that.
No, I hadn't done any of it yet.
I'll be back to just third class and be the class clown in a little bit.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Petitgrain. The scientific name is Citrus or Uranium. The Pedigree Essential Oil is useful for aroma, for aromatic properties. Also, you could take it internally, and it can be used topically as well. So before I get too much further in this, let me be clear. We used to do 2 classes or 2 live streams. We did a Saturday night and we did a Sunday night. We have not been doing Saturday night, which was our catch up and, you know, find out everything that's been going on for us for the week, and we haven't been able to keep that Saturday obligation. That's why the beginning of this class was for us to catch up. The last couple of weeks, I haven't had the time or the mental capacity to prepare. This one, even in itself, is just going to be a quick once over. Petitgrain I have not purchased and used yet, but I intend on doing it this week. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and the applications that I want to use it for. And then I'll reply back to you guys and let you know how well it's worked, you know, in maybe like in 2-3 weeks. I don't know why we haven't purchased this one before. I think part of it is possibly because we already use wild orange, which I'm going to tell you guys in just a minute. Petitgrain is actually also derived from the bitter wild orange plant, just like the wild orange essential oil, and also neroli oil as well. The Petitgrain oil does come in a 15 milliliter bottle, so that's kind of cool. It's not one of the 5 milliliter. Like next week, I'm going to talk about Spikenard, and that one's actually a 5 milliliter bottle. And I know that one of the reasons why I haven't gotten that one is because of that. I'm always hesitant, for some reason or another, to get the 5 milliliter bottles, because I'm afraid I'm going to really enjoy using the oil, and then I'm going to have to get it so much quicker than I would if it was the 15 milliliter. So that's how you spell it, Josh, right there. Petitgrain. Petitgrain. And funny story, or funny use, or whatever, the reason why this is called Petitgrain is from the wild orange plant. They used to actually take the unripened oranges, and also the green before they would, or the really small oranges before they would actually grow, and they would use those to make the oil. But now they use the leaves and the young twigs and branches. Okay, so it can be used aromatically, internally, and topically. Comes from the orange plant. Now, interesting fact, it is a citrus plant. And I've told you guys before, if it's citrus, that it can be photosensitive, right?
Don't go out in the sun, baby.
Right.
It'll burn you, baby.
So this one is not, which is very interesting. It's steam distilled. It's not cold pressed.
Do you think that's why?
Probably.
So really, in the long run, then it's not about the oil. It's about how.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. But I know that this one is not photosensitive. It's been steam distilled from fresh leaves and young tender twigs. Neroli oil is also from the wild bitter orange plant. But it is from the actual the flowers. So before a flower turns into an orange, they take the white flowers and they make the oil from that. So the wild orange plant is it's nothing of the wild orange plant goes to waste is basically the best way to say it, because they use the leaves, the twigs, the actual orange itself, because they'll take the skin. And the way that the bitter wild orange plant is, or the oranges themselves, the pores are huge.
You want me to turn the heater off?
So I just took my sweatshirt off. And so that's how it's able to get the oil from that as well. So it used to be extracted from the green and young oranges, and that's where the Petitgrain comes from. The name comes from. The bitter orange plant was actually brought over from Spanish Jesuits, and they were planted everywhere and have grown wild for 2 centuries at least.
In Florida?
No, well, they were grown in Paraguay and a whole bunch of other places. The oil that comes from doTERRA is actually harvested in Paraguay. And this is actually a pretty cool story, but I'll tell you about that in just a second. Long before steam distillation came into play, the bitter orange plant was used, or tree was used, for all different things: colds, flus, indigestion, diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, hemorrhaging, all different types of colic, all different types of things. They used to take the leaves and make a tea and do all the different kinds of salves and things like that. So this plant has been used for a long time before it was used, as the essential oil, extracting the actual oil itself. So this plant, or this tree, I keep saying plant, when they're cultivated, the trees get to about 10 feet tall. If they're allowed to grow wild, they'll get up to about 20 feet tall. Now, when they're cultivated, what they do is they prune the trees every 9 months. And it's an evergreen, so the leaves are constantly there and growing. So they can harvest it at any time, but they continually prune every 9 months to maintain the best foliage for them to be able to take the twigs and the leaves to be able to produce the oil. The twigs themselves is where most of the oil comes from. There's a lot of essential oil within the twigs, the young twigs, the green twigs.
So the new growth, basically?
Right. So that's why they're, they keep pruning. So, anyway, so there's that. Let's see. What else was I going to say? I think that's all of it on that. Oh, so one of the things that Petitgrain is used a lot for is because of the citrus notes and the smell. It's used a lot in perfume and cosmetics, but it's also used as a flavoring agent a lot in food and in drinks and beverages. So some people have already heard of Petitgrain, even though it's not necessarily the oil itself, but they've heard of that before because it's been used in certain things, like especially in perfumes and cosmetic stuff as well. The properties themselves, this oil is antiseptic, it's antispasmodic, antidepressant, it's a deodorant, a nervine, a sedative, anti-inflammatory, and yes, it is also a stimulant. I know you're asking, wait a minute, you just said that it was a sedative, how can it be a stimulant? Well, it's a stimulant for the nervous system and for the digestive system. So it can help with digestion, to stimulate digestion process, so that if you have any kind of indigestion issues, that will help that. Now, before I get into what...
Does it affect Caesars?
I'm getting there, Terry. Be patient. I
A2,
promise I'm going to answer that. I promise. I promise. I saw it the first time. I'm going to answer in just a second.
What's a nervine?
It helps with the nervous system, promotes good support of the nervous system.
You know you can't use use school words when you got a blacksmith.
Okay, so real quick, one of the things about, and the short answer, Terry, is yes, you can use it. Okay, so doTERRA. We've talked a little bit before about doTERRA. One of the really cool things about doTERRA is that they do something called co-impact sourcing. They go into impoverished areas where a lot of these resources are growing, whether it be frankincense or whatever. In this particular case with the wild bitter orange plant or tree, they have gone into Paraguay, and they've basically gone in and educated a lot and shown the producers how to properly prune, and how, even though it's an evergreen, when's the best time to collect, that kind of thing. When to harvest, how to distill. And this is a really cool thing. I wanted to show y'all a picture of this. I think this is really neat. This is the still that they use when they're doing the Petitgrain. They will go, the farmers will go and collect the twigs and the leaves, and they bring it very close by. The still is usually very close. It's made of wood, as you can see. And also, do you see the red dirt? That red dirt, they pack that on and it seals up the still. And when it's wet, it's kind of like clay.
So is that cob?
Kind of, yeah. But it's a particular red dirt that is
indigenous.
Yeah, indigenous. It's there in Paraguay. So they take it. I mean, you can see, look on the ground there. They take it up and they pack it around the still, the wood area there, and so that they can put the leaves and the twigs in, and that's how they make. So it's not like it goes to this fancy schmancy distillery somewhere. I mean, it's being carried very quickly from where it is to these local stills. And then, as you can see, there's that barrel there that then it runs up through the tube, and that's how they catch the oil to be able to extract the oil. Now,
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does doTERRA hire the Duke boys to transport said oil?
That's what Terry just said. He said, it's a redneck moonshine still for oil. This is exactly, I mean, that's why I wanted to show y'all a picture. I mean, when you're getting this oil, you are getting it from Paraguay. Like, it has literally been produced by these small scale farmers who go in and collect these twigs and these leaves and bring them back to this makeshift still.
You got a new person in the class.
Who?
Small town Southern Homestead.
Well, hello. That's a new one. Hi.
Hi.
Hello there.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
So basically they've made these stills, and then the other thing is that they educate the producers in how to get the highest quality oil, how to be the most efficient with it, and so on and so forth.
And explain why that's important.
The quality?
Yeah.
So one of the things that doTERRA and a couple of other companies pride themselves on is that the purity of their oils are so high that they're also capable of being ingested. There are a lot of properties that are even better when they're ingested, as far as oils go. And again, if you're going to put this stuff on you or smell it or take it internally, the purity is a pretty big deal. You don't want to be putting junk in your system, I mean, and I'll go back to this. I said this before and I'll say it again. When we bought one of our latest diffusers, it came with like 3 or 4 free oils that it came with. They weren't doTERRA, they were some off-brand oil. Well, me, trying not to be snooty and saying, well, I'm used to certified pure therapeutic grade, you know, I'm not going to use these. I thought, well, you know what? It's just aromatics, not a big deal. It's lavender. How bad can it be? So I put the lavender in the into the diffuser, and the next morning I woke up with the worst headache I have ever had in my entire life. And I did nothing different. And I wasn't sick or anything like that. I wasn't on my period. I mean, I didn't have anything else going on. So the only thing I could attribute it to was that. And the minute that I stopped diffusing that and we didn't use it again, I had no more issues. So when you're talking about purity, you want the purity to be high so that you can trust what you're using is going to be more effective than it's going to be detrimental to your system.
Right, and one of the ways that doTERRA, I don't know about other companies, but one of the ways that doTERRA does this with their education program, they also do it financially.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is they go into these areas, and instead of paying the farmers one big check when they harvest, they say, we want you to harvest at this date. This is what we're going to pay you throughout the year. And they basically cut them a check just like how teachers get paid.
Like a stipend each month.
They get a little bit each month,
mm-hmm.
and then when the harvest comes in,
mm-hmm.
they get basically the bonus or the difference or whatever you want to call it. And they get paid throughout the year, so they don't have to stress about a paycheck coming in and putting food on their table.
Now, one of the other cool things that, specifically with Petitgrain, is that the Atlantic forest is really going through some deforestation,
mm-hmm.
like really bad. And the bitter orange tree has actually been an environmentally friendly resource to help maintain some of that tropical forest area, but still also provide impoverished people with an economic opportunity. Like when I was reading, there was an article. There's one of the farmers has put 3 of his kids through college,
mm-hmm.
which normally that would not be an option, but because of his work and partnership with doTERRA, has been able to do so. So I think that's pretty neat.
And that also guarantees you get the best oil out there, because there's no reason for them to rush and
mm-hmm.
harvest, because they got bills
to pay.
Exactly. They've been getting paid the whole year long.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're going to harvest at the precise moment to where it's going to be the best. And
mm-hmm.
with some of these things, that's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, yeah, I mean, is it jasmine? Jasmine has to be picked at like 3 in the morning or something ridiculous like that for the best quality. So anyway, all of that being said, we're tooting doTERRA's horn for half a second. I just thought it was really neat to see that they're actually doing that within that country and to be able to help build economic, kind of thing. I think that's pretty neat. So.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why we're with doTERRA,
mm-hmm.
is because they promote sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been watching this channel at all for any length of time, you know we are all about sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the main reasons
mm-hmm.
that we're with doTERRA.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the fact that their oils are
high quality.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so as far as Petitgrain goes, what is it good for? One of the big things that it is good for is...
Oh, I know.
What?
A pedigree is good so that way when your dog has puppies, you can sell them more.
Not a pedigree, a Petitgrain.
Oh, okay.
Petitgrain.
Well, then I don't know.
Petitgrain, let's put it that way. So it helps reduce anxiety. This is really, really good for if you've had an long day, rough day. You can take and put a little bit of coconut oil, put on the bottoms of your feet, and help you chill out real easy. Another thing that it's really good for is any kind of nervous affliction, convulsions, and Terry, this is good for epileptic issues, for epileptic attacks. Also good for hysteric attacks. It can also help with insomnia. So anybody who deals with having a hard time going to sleep at night, they tell you could take and spray a little bit on your pillow. You can put it at the bottoms of your feet to help you go to sleep. You can diffuse it in the air. All those different things you can use to be able to help calm. But the citrus smell is also an uplifting smell, so it can be a very pleasant smell as well. Yes, it can help with hysteric attacks, panic, nervous, all kinds of things like that. It also helps prevent sepsis. I said earlier it's antibacterial and antiseptic. It helps prevent sepsis from occurring. So that's also a really nice thing to have Petitgrain available as an antiseptic. Now, that being said, another really cool application for this oil, just like how some people will use the lemon oil or sometimes the orange oil to clean, Petitgrain is also a good one for cleaning. You can use it to spray on your countertops to clean, all kinds of stuff like that. Helps cut grease, kind of like how lemon does. Pretty neat. And it smells really good. Now, speaking of smell, I said it was antibacterial. This oil is a deodorant, meaning that not only does it smell good and can get rid of some of the nasty smells, body odor smells, things like that, but it also helps in those areas that don't get sunlight and can just naturally start to smell bad. You can apply, and I think I'm going to try and use Petitgrain on a soap recipe. So I think that would be a good one to use as well. Jennifer, I don't know. I have not smelled it yet. I think, let me see something. Has anybody used it? I'm thinking it's more floral. I don't think it's as spicy. I think it's more of a floral smell. Citrusy kind of a smell than it is a spicy smell. But again, like I said, I'm ordering it this week. I'm going to use it this week, so I will let you guys know. So would that make an antibacterial soap? I'm hoping so. That's one of the things that I am getting ready to do. I think that, and I'll tell you just from a standpoint, we started making our own soap last year around September. And I made some soap with geranium. Geranium is really good for the skin. And so rose geranium. So I put it in some soap. And I sold the soap at the conference, but I had some left over. And I started using it, and I have like a little bit of acne here and there occasionally, but not too bad. My daughter, however, is getting to be right in the middle of puberty, and so she has inherited my skin issues. And when I was her age, my entire face was covered in acne. And she is not nearly as bad. One, because she doesn't eat the junk that I ate when I was a kid. I didn't know any better. But she started using just regular soap, and of course her concept was, if I have acne, it's because I'm not keeping my face clean. So she would just continue to wash, and she started seeing all the commercials about Dove soap and this, that, and the other. And so I had some Dove soap that I'd just been sitting in the cabinet, and I hadn't used it in a while. And so she broke that out and started using it. And her face just was continually, up here especially, was getting really bad. And so I finally asked her, and then she was trying to wear a beanie to cover it up. And I'm like, oh, sweetheart, I know what you're going through. I've been there. But I know things that I didn't know when I was your age. So I'm going to share them with you. Please pay attention. And so what she did was we started using that geranium soap. And I will tell you, her face She has almost no acne at all. And so I'm also considering, see, this Petitgrain is good for skin as well, especially like acne and things like that as well. So I'm going to make some Petitgrain soap and see if that helps as well. So then there's another option. You know, if you don't like the smell of Petitgrain, then maybe you like the smell of geranium or vice versa. But it works fantastic. She washes her face, you know, only once a day does she focus on washing her face. She doesn't constantly wash it, but when she takes her bath, she makes sure that she washes her face really good with that soap, and it works really, really well for her. Geranium also we use a lot for nosebleeds. It helps stop a nosebleed. My son has used to have really bad nosebleeds, like, I mean, probably 2 or 3 times in a week. And so we started using the geranium once I found out that it worked. We started using the geranium for that as well, and it worked out really, really well. As far as the geranium, I never used geranium for relaxing properties, but I mean, yeah, it is, because it's it smells like roses to me, and so that's naturally is a calming, relaxing smell for most people. Some people don't like it, but as far as the properties go, yeah, it can be a relaxing and a sedative as well. So let's see, with soon to be 2 teen gals, thanks for talking about the geranium. Yeah, I mean, that soap has saved her, you know, because there's that struggle of, well, I gotta hide it. I don't want anybody to see that I've got acne. Oh my gosh. And, you know, back in the 80s and early 90s, we used to wear bangs like to here. So you would have the hairspray and everything else hanging down on your forehead too. And, you know, and then there's that misconception of, if you keep washing it, that'll clean it up. And that just irritates it and makes it worse. So that was one of the things, that education was a big part of it. But we're going to make some Petitgrain soap, and I'll let you guys know how that is, and I'll put up on the website as well. I think I have the geranium soap in the website as well. It's for sale. I think I have it listed with the soap scrubby. If you want it without the soap scrubby, by all means, just ask. I'll be more than happy to break that up and sell the soap separately. It's not an issue. I think I still have a few bars left of that, but we got to make some more of that as well. So anyway, so as far as the rest of the stuff with Petitgrain, this oil is all of the benefits are very similar to clary sage and also lavender. So you know, this can be something you can add into your routine. If you use clary sage for something, you can kind of bounce back and forth between that and Petitgrain. And you can also, you know, lavender, you know, sometimes you use lavender for soothing and for anxiety and things of that nature. You can use Petitgrain instead. So if you have one but not the other, you can kind of flip-flop with those. But overall, this oil is really good for cardiovascular support, digestive support, obviously your immune system, and also the nervous system as well. It helps with keeping your skin healthy. Some people will take it, and I just have never really gotten over the idea of putting oil on your skin. So that's why, like, I like the idea of making it into a soap as well. Well, hello, Clary. So another application for this, and I didn't cover this, but as far as pregnancy goes, this this oil doesn't have any, because I always look up contraindications and precautions, and I didn't really cover that at the beginning, and that was because there really aren't any. This is a pretty safe oil. If you have sensitive skin, obviously dilute with this oil. But it can be used neat if you need to. Neat meaning you don't have to dilute it with any kind of fractionated coconut oil or anything like that. But you can use this during pregnancy. Now, if you're going to use it internally, you would want to heavily dilute it. Children can also use this oil, but you would want to dilute it for children. But again, also, there's no contraindications. I haven't seen anything where it interferes with anything. And I touched on this earlier. It's not photosensitive. So just be careful. If you have sensitive skin, you want to make sure that you're diluting it. But going back to the pregnancy thing, this is a good one for that fatigue of being pregnant and feeling like lethargic and not wanting to do anything. I know before I said it was a sedative and calming, but it does also have uplifting properties. So it can help, kind of bring somebody out of that fatigue as well. So that's nice. Kitty, as far as I know, I have not seen any contraindications at all for this oil. Now, that being said, there's not as much information on this oil as some of the other ones. It's fairly newly released from doTERRA. I don't know about other companies because, again, I don't pay attention to those. But doTERRA just released this oil in 2016. Now, all these other places that I check my contraindications stuff from have been around much longer than 2016. But they don't normally put stuff out if it hasn't been around for a while. Or, they don't have as much exposure to it. So we won't see it as often. So, all that being said, I mean, I've looked and looked and looked. I have not seen any contraindications on anything. But what I will say is, if you look up wild orange and see if there's any contraindications to wild orange itself, the plant. If there are to that, then I would assume that it would be safe to err on the side of caution. If there's anything that, goes against any of the wild orange issues, then, you would want to make sure to kind of blanket it towards that, just to be careful. You always want to be careful. And the other thing, too, to keep in mind is that essential oils are literally that. They are the essential part of the plant that is the most concentrated form. And when you're using these, you have to be very careful because it's very potent. Where some companies have diluted their oils and put other things in with them, or it's lower quality, one of the downfalls to doTERRA having a certified pure therapeutic grade oil is that it is very potent. And so you have to be careful with that. Don't overuse. Make sure that you're using responsibly. And that you have a little bit of knowledge behind you before you just start, blanketly using these oils. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Don't just say, well, she said so on the video. I mean, it was on YouTube. It must be true. No, go and check and double check and triple check to make sure that you're sure before you use this stuff. Now, the last little bit here, and I think this is kind of a neat thing to know, this oil blends pretty well with a lot of other oils. And this is where I was going with this with the soap. It blends really well with geranium. And so what I'm thinking is I'm going to do one of one and one of the other, and then I may do one with both of them together. To see if they, putting both of these oils in together helps to multiply the effect for skin, or if it doesn't matter whether it's one or the other or both. But I think it would be cool to kind of test that theory and see how it works. It also blends really well with lavender, sandalwood, which is another one that I'm getting ready to get here pretty soon, cassia, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and also lemongrass. Okay, so Kitty says, from anything I've found, the only ones known to interact badly with SSRI drugs are eugenol-rich oils such as clove, myristicin-rich oils such as nutmeg, and and this isn't one from what I found. Right? No, I don't. I don't think so. Petitgrain is actually. Let me pull it up because I don't like to get too bogged down in the science with this because a lot of people just it's not really their thing. The Petitgrain is more lineal acetate. So linalool, terpenol. I don't even see. You're saying the eugenol rich. I don't even see that component in the Petitgrain. So I think you're clear when it comes to that. So that would be my, but again, like Kitty said, she's looked and these are the ones that she's found. Do your research, find out what you can, and make an educated decision based on that. Okay, so that's, and also, we're talking about antibacterial, antiseptic. This is also really good as an antioxidant support. So a lot of people use Petitgrain in their daily routine, their daily regimen of oils. They'll take a drop or two internally to help with immune support, antioxidant support, and that kind of stuff. So that's what I got. Anybody have any questions? Well, that's awesome. Kitty says, okay, awesome. My childhood best friend is having a hard time and needs a little something extra and doesn't want any more pills. This sounds like it could help her in a few ways. I'm definitely going to add it into my regimen of things for anxiety, especially right now. We've got a lot of anxious times ahead of us, so if I can diffuse this in the house to kind of level things out, that would be nice to help with that and have that in my regimen of different things I can diffuse in the house. Anybody else? Uh-oh, I hear feet. And I see a flashlight. And I see a Jason. I heard footprints and I saw...
You heard footprints?
Yes,
Or did you hear footsteps?
Footprints. I heard footprints, not footsteps.
Are you done teaching?
I am done teaching.
I don't want people to think I'm a distraction.
People think you're a distraction, but most of my people love your distractions.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have the occasional person that doesn't like you being the class clown, but I personally think that it keeps everybody from falling asleep.
May I ask what books you recommend?
Oh.
For me, personally, anything by Michael Crichton, Stephen King.
Okay, so one person asked earlier...
Lord of the Rings was a good book.
If we have a link for the book.
Harry Potter's.
Books in the thing.
Hunger Games. Those are all good books.
How do you use geranium for nosebleeds? Literally put it across the bridge of the nose. Helped really well. Let's see. What books do we recommend? Okay, my very first and foremost is The Essential Life. If you look on oillife.com, you can find that book there. That book is wonderful because it has, and they put out a new edition every year, and typically they add the new oils that doTERRA has released at convention. So the edition this year will now include Neroli, Rose. I mean, I already had Rose and Neroli on there, but like it has the Siberian fir. It has Copaiba is in there, which is an awesome oil. If you've not seen that video, that one's a really good one. Oils for burns. Okay, so the best oils for burns, in my opinion, and I have used these and they work tremendously, lavender and frankincense. Put lavender on it first. It helps soothe it. It also is antibacterial, so if there's any chance of it getting infected, you can make sure that doesn't happen. And the frankincense also helps for the regeneration and helps it heal without a scar.
In the no common sense part of the brain, you're on your own.
Yeah, that one I can't help you with. Thanks, Vanna Bear. So Essential Life is a really great book. The other one is The Modern Essentials. That book is also good. The thing about that one is like what Kitty was talking about. This one has more of the scientific conversation about each book. It breaks down the chemical composition and a little bit more of the history and all of that stuff. Okay, so shingles. Give me the essential oil book. And this is what I'm going to tell you. This is why I love this book. So, right off the top of my head, I've never had to deal with shingles, so I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
But
when it comes to shingles, okay?
Would you stop being a smart aleck?
You have to start in one corner. Okay? And you usually let, you know how in the shingles when you got one sheet and it has the 2 cuts in it. Okay, you usually let one of those cuts overhang. And then you nail it in.
Okay, stop. It's not funny.
What? I'm talking about shingles.
Not that kind of shingles.
Oh.
Okay. So
you mean the shingles that come from chicken?
The reason I really like this book is, and this is one of the newer, and at the very beginning, there's a quick reference guide, and it lists ailments in a key is the chalk line. It lists the ailments, and then you can look based on the ailment, and they're in alphabetical order. So that way you have a quick reference to be able to look up certain things. So like I said, we haven't dealt with shingles personally, but I can tell you.
Speak for yourself. I put up a lot of shingles.
Based on this book.
But he's right. That chalk line is the key. You get that chalk line wrong, and
it says
your roof's gonna leak.
Black pepper, you can take it internally or use it topically. Frankincense, internally or topically. The detoxification blend, which I don't know that we've talked about, but for doTERRA it's called Zendocrine. That's a really, really, really good one.
Can I add something? The black pepper is true. Because when I was up putting shingles up on the roof, I put some black pepper on my sandwich that you made me.
Stop.
And it was just, it was good. It really helped.
Melissa oil is also good. And Melaleuca. Now, Melaleuca makes sense to me. Like, if I didn't have my cheat book and I had to really just dig down and think, Melaleuca would make sense because of the skin and also the antibacterial properties and
blackberries.
Things of that nature. That, I think, is a good one as well. So, yeah, these are blackberries. They're not ours.
A credit for the book, Laura? Is that what she's asking?
Yeah. Is there a link where you can get credit? I have to look and see if there is
on Amazon.
If I can look at it through Amazon. If I can find it in Amazon,
we'll put it in the description.
We'll put it in the description of this video. That would be the only way we would get credit.
Now this video will go public tomorrow because for some reason with YouTube it takes it almost 12 hours to process after we've been done a live stream. Like I was really surprised because we were on the phone. Michelle L, is that my?
Yes.
Oh, what's up?
Okay, awesome. So it is on Amazon, so I'll get the link and I'll put it in the description. So then that way, yes, I'll be able to get credit for it that way.
Yes.
We'll do it
and
that
please use our Amazon link. Give it to your cousin's, sister's, roommate, whatever.
Yes.
Because that's how we do Christmas.
Yeah, that's how we do Christmas. Because we don't make a lot off of it, but it's enough to be able to get the girls Christmas presents at the end of the year. So Isabel Lawrence wants to know what are the best oils for chronic pain and sciatica.
Okay, so I am not going to make any jokes with this one because of my lower back pain from my injuries working for Uncle Sam.
And we use all of these. Like, I'm going to the quick reference, but we use every one of these, especially the Soothing Blend is the Deep Blue. Works wonderfully. That is really good layered. We use the cream, the lotion, and then we'll put the deep blue oil on top of it. And then if you take peppermint and layer it on top of that, it helps drive the deep blue lotion down into your muscles. If Josh is still here, I believe Josh used that a couple of weeks ago. He was having some issues. There we go. I knew. I just had to give him a second, but he had posted that he was doing really well with the deep blue, was helping out, and Jason, you will soon find out, Jason, that I am the Amazon queen. It means Jason will be delivering Amazon packages.
Hey, as long as you get them through our link,
you can do whatever.
I will bring them all day long.
So, have I tried Blue Tansy? Not yet. Blue Tansy is in the deep blue lotion. The thing is, Blue Tansy, just to be completely honest with you, wholesale, it's $100. And I have used other things like deep blue and peppermint and lemongrass that have worked so well that I haven't been able to justify the $95 or whatever it is for the Blue Tansy. So
let me go ahead. Let me introduce Miss Michelle right now, everybody in the chat box. A lot of y'all have been hanging out with us for years. Miss Michelle is one of my customers through the post office. I deliver to her house, and we've struck up some conversations. She also homeschools. I might talk to her about coming on our show because they do something really cool on their homestead that I didn't even know you could do. They're going to come over and check out our bees. I was going to reach out to her to have her come today, but with that storm that came through, we didn't even pop the top today. But they're going to come over and check out our bees, and then we're going to go over and check out what they do. And if maybe she'll let me bring a camera, I can make a video. But I'd love to have you on as a guest, Michelle, and we talk about what that unique thing that you guys do.
Okay, so another thing for chronic pain and sciatica, wintergreen. We use wintergreen a lot.
That one is the bomb.com.
Yeah. Love wintergreen. Wintergreen is great. And Terry's asking about nerve pain. This is also very good for nerve pain. Ginger is also really good. We use wintergreen and ginger a lot at our house. I know. We got 10 minutes.
9.
Okay. Also lemongrass that I mentioned earlier. We use lemongrass a lot for nerve pain, for any kind of anti-inflammatory issues. Lemongrass is a good one as well. Also cypress. That's another one that we use a lot of. Turmeric is a good spice to use. I've heard for arthritis and all of that. We just don't have a turmeric oil.
You know how hard it was, and I think you did this on purpose. When you were talking about the deep blue, and I said I wasn't going to make any jokes. But I was dying over here.
Why?
Because you said you put the lotion on the skin.
Yeah, I know.
And I so badly wanted to do a Silence of the Lambs reference.
So Niana wants to know, neat or diluted. I dilute most of the time, but sometimes I don't. But most of the time I do. And mostly because I end up using more than one oil, so I want it to kind of spread out, and because most of Jason's pain is on his lower back and it goes down through his hips. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll spread it across his back and then, go down both of his hips. And so that, I need more. That's the thing about dilution, is when you put the...
You trying to say I got a big booty?
No, what I'm saying is when you're covering
a larger... You just said you need more. You need a larger area. So you saying I got a big butt?
I'm saying instead of covering like an elbow for arthritis or for a tennis elbow, we're talking about somebody's lower back. It's not just a small spot. It's your lower back. And then it also goes down your legs. So I'm not talking about a 1/4 inch or an inch area. I'm talking about,
It's funny how you're talking about, not like this. I'm talking about wooga wooga.
Anyway, will wintergreen or deep blue work better for my neck? Probably the deep blue. And I know
See, I'm
Terry
not
just
the only one
ordered.
that said that. Look.
Terry just ordered the Home Essentials, so she's gonna get the oil. The oil will work really well, but Terry, I would definitely layer with the peppermint. That will work really good. So, all right. So it is definitely. It's like 5 minutes till. We are getting ready to go check out the dead. Those of you that are going to go over to Alderman Farms, go ahead. We'll just have to catch him on the flip side.
I catch him on Monday mornings when I'm sitting out here drinking my coffee.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry, Tommy, but yep, that was my drink, not yours. Have a nice day.
Oh. So Niana said, that's what I need to do. Dilute. A lot of ground to cover. All right. You guys have a great, great evening. Oh, that was horrible.
Too bad that wasn't patchouli.
Jason, did you get my email? Yeah, I think she did. You did get her email about the... Oh, yeah. About Blaze. We did. We just haven't really... We haven't really responded to a whole bunch of stuff. We did. We read it. It's just been it's been a minute. It was a couple days ago. I promise you did. Okay. So anyway. All right.
Remember, be kind to one another. That's the most important thing. Be nice to one another. You don't know what that other person's going through.
You don't know if she's going to be sitting next to you in a bar and want to throw punch you.
You don't know if she's just picked up her husband's drink when she wasn't supposed to and drank it and made a patchouli face.
Oh, yeah, we did get the one about the wallet. The leather working. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I've got the pig hide is... Ooh. Ow, I love you. The pig hide is in the tanning solution. That video is probably going to be coming out this week. And it's going to take a couple weeks for it to tan. And then we are going to measure it out. And I'm going to start on your book thing. I don't know what it's going to cost yet. But...
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So remember, be kind to one another, love on each other. You don't know what your neighbor's going through. They could just gotten some really bad news, and they don't mean to snap at you. They don't mean to be ugly to you. Just they got their kid may have just totaled a truck. You just don't know.
You never know.
You never know. Also, remember, recycle, reuse, repurpose. Let's give our wildlife a chance, because every time that you take that Coke bottle and you toss it in the landfill, there's a really good possibility that you just took a squirrel's home.
Okay.
So we love you guys. We be watching for our posts. We're going to be posting in all social media throughout the week. Monday through Friday, it's going to be me. I'm going to be posting on the Facebook groups, on the Facebook page, on Instagram, and on Twitter. I'm going to be putting different things on each social media. I'm going to do one different on the page, one different in the group, different on Instagram, and we're going to get back to giving away these free samples of oils. And guess where my questions are going to come from?
Exactly. And that's what I was going to get at is we're going to start...
Just dropping that piece of knowledge.
Yeah. So
we love you guys. Y'all have fun. Y'all tell Tommy we said hello. But it's time.
Be looking this week. We will be going impromptu live
to do the...
And we'll post, like Terry just said, we'll post in the Big Bear group to let everybody know that we're going live from the kitchen.
Live from the kitchen.
So you guys have a good night.
But it's time for the dead.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.